In this video, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the spacer divider block from Kadence. So the spacer divider block is a really great block you can use on a post or page to separate content and create space between content. There are three ways to add the spacer divider block to a page or a post. So you can come here to the right-hand side to the add block plus icon. You can come to the top here, the toggle block inserter, and then click on spacer divider. And then the third way to add it is to come here, type in / and then type in spacer, and that will pop up and you can click on that. So before we go over to the right hand side, let's first look at the options we have here. So the first option is to select the spacer divider block. The next option is to align the spacer divider block. So we can align that center. We can do it wide width, which is the width of your content. The next is full width, so that's the width of your screen. And then we have the alignment settings for the text. The text is not necessarily the text, it's the actual divider. So you can kind of see a faint line here in my divider. We can see it's aligned center. If we click on this, it will align it to the left-hand side. And if I click on right, you can see it then aligns it to the right-hand side. So that's aligning of the divider, and this is aligning of the full spacer divider block. The next option we have is copying and pasting our styles. Now let's go over to the right-hand side where we can style the spacer and style the divider. So the first is your spacer settings. So the spacer is basically something that you're going to use between content to create space. So instead of using padding or margins, we can use the spacer block to create space between our blocks. So the first option we have here, and the only option we have, is to set the height of the space. So we can set the height as pixels, or we can also do it as viewport height. So we can change the unit of measurement there. So we can just drag up and down, and then that will change the figure on the right hand side, or we can type in whatever pixel amount we want there. Then we have the option to toggle between our desktop, our tablet, and our mobile device, and we can set the pixel height depending on the device we are on. Now let's look at the divider settings. So with this block, you can use it as a spacer all by itself, or you can use it as a spacer and a divider. So the first option we have here is to enable the divider. If we don't want any line or anything in this block, we can always toggle this off by clicking the toggle button. But let's toggle it on and have a look at the settings that are available to us. So the first is your alignment, which we've gone through already. We can left align it, we can center align it, and we can right align it. And we can also align it depending on the device we're on. So whether we are on a desktop, a tablet, or a mobile device. The next is the style, and Kadence gives you 4 divider styles. We've got solid, dashed, dotted, and stripe. I'm going to go through the first 3. They all have the same options of settings, and then we'll look at stripe at the end. So here's solid. We can see that's what we have at the moment. Then we've got dashed, which is quite small, and then we've got dotted there, and we'll look at stripe in a moment. So you can choose your style there. Then you've got the option to select the color. So you can select your color from the global palette, pop in a hex color, or use the color picker. So I'm going to use the color picker for now. And you can see that is the dotted divider style there. The next 2 options we have is the divider height and the divider width. So we can again scroll up and down to change the height of our divider, and we can set the height depending on desktop, tablet, and mobile. And then we've got width, so we can choose between the percentage or pixel as our unit of measurement. Here we've got 80%. If I want, I can drag this all along, and that can be 100%. So our dashed and our solid have these same divider height and divider width settings. Now we look at the stripe, and the stripe gives us 3 extra settings. We can set the angle, we can set the width, and we can set the gap. So again, we can just drag this up and down to select the angle, drag it up and down to select the width of our actual stripe, and then up and down to select the gap between our stripe. Okay, so that is our divider settings. Then the last is our advanced tab, and we've got the ability to set the visibility settings, so we can hide our spacer divider on desktop, tablet, or mobile. So if I toggle this and I go and look on a tablet, then it's not going to show up on a tablet. Again, if I toggle that, it's going to hide it on mobile. The next option is your block defaults. If I like the styling of this and I want every spacer divider to be styled like this on my website, I can click Save as Default. And the next time I come to use the spacer divider block, it's going to look exactly like this. Then the last setting is your Advanced tab, and this is where you can define an HTML anchor, and that is a word or two without spaces that you can use to link to, and that will link directly to this block. And then we've got your additional CSS classes, and this is for styling purposes. So that is the quick tour of the spacer divider block from Kadence.